Hello. So this session is for those times when you feel really sluggish, when you need that energy boost, when you feel that you could lie down and do nothing, but you don't have the option to do that. This will give you the zing that you need. So let's jump on the mat. We begin in extended child's pose. Teddy seems to have lots of energy today. He keeps having a little bark, so I hope that he stays quiet. Stay quiet. Okay, knees wide, big toes touch, and just slide forwards between the knees. Just let your forehead just rest down on the mat. And move the forehead from side to side, massaging through the forehead. Give the fingers a little wiggle as if you were playing the piano. And come back to your breathing here. The knees really widen. We begin to feel the hips soften. And notice the breath flowing all the way down into the tummy. So the tummy gets bigger as you breathe in, and as you exhale, everything contracts. So breathing in, feel that expansion of the in-breath. And exhale, let go. And a couple more, breathing in, and a long exhale. So notice as we rest here in extended child's pose, this soothing pose, how you feel. What's going on with your energy today? Where are you at? So without judging, just notice where you're at. So I know for me, I've been rushing around all morning and everything feels a little bit of an effort now. I feel a little bit sluggish. But I know that breathing well and moving softly will just create that little shift. Sometimes if the body is a little bit achy, if your joints are aching, which often happens, as we know, during perimenopause and menopause, you don't feel like moving much. So we're going to be taking the practice nice and slow. But we'll be using the breath to flow through a sequence effortlessly. And if we can use the breath and move in this way off the mat too, it just helps us. We use less energy. Good. So coming all the way up then into an all fours position. Have a little wiggle around through the hips. So I often bring you here in the practice. It's just a nice place to just get nice and loose and soft in the body. Quite playful, quite childlike. Cat and cow, letting your tummy go. Breathing in, flat back, and exhale to round through the spine. So breathing in, flat back, and exhale to let the tummy go. Breathing in, flat back, and exhale to round. And a few more, cat and cow. Just like this, just moving softly, maybe a gentle sway through the hips too. Letting the head go, a yes and no with the head. Good, and then let's just incorporate some really big circles through the hips. Now when we move through the hips, when we soften the muscles around the hips, especially that psoas muscle, it's quite useful for shifting your emotional state. So we squeeze away any tension. So that's all part of the practice today. Good. And then into puppy dog pose, just reaching forwards, lengthening through the arms, spreading through the fingers. Good, lifting the hips high, feeling the length up and down the spine, separating the vertebrae. And see if you can just imagine your breath flowing from the tailbone all the way up to the neck and then all the way back down as we expand the breathing. The rib cage widens and the diaphragm does its thing, moving out to the side and up and down. And already breathing properly, breathing effectively, breathing deeply in this way will help just give us that little boost that we need to feel better. Good. So bring the palms of the hands firmly onto the mat, we curl the toes under and heading up into downward dog now. So bending one knee, bending the other, wagging through the tail, letting the head go, allowing the head and chest just to fall between the arms. And downward dog is really a classic pose for balancing hormones and also giving you a little bit of an energy boost, just enough to get you through the day. Good. Baby steps then take us all the way to the front of the mat. Feet mat width apart rather than hip width apart, and softening through the knees, and just let your arms be really floppy. And then come all the way up into standing, all the way up into standing. Let the head be the last thing that comes up. Breathe in, reach high. So the feet are wide as the mat, and pressing down through the four corners of the feet. Get bouncy in your knees, give the hands a bit of a shake, maybe a gentle sway from side to side. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale out through the mouth, let your body swing forwards. Breathing in, up we go. Exhale out through the mouth. Soft knees, grounded feet. Breathing in, up we go. And exhale. Let the upper body just go. And again, breathing in, reaching high. And exhale to just swing forwards. And again. This time as you swing forwards, just hold it there. Let the upper body be nice and floppy, and heel toe the feet so they're hip width apart. And just have a little ragdoll around the legs, giving the hands a shake, rolling through the shoulders. Good, and the right hand comes to the centre of the mat, just in between the feet, just a little bit further in front of the feet. You can make a fist with that right hand. And breathe in to float the left arm high. Bend through the right knee, lengthen that right leg and reach. Twisting, refreshing the torso, refreshing the abdominal organs, breathing big. In and out through the nose. Good, and changing sides. So we lengthen the right leg, bend the left knee, breathe in to float the right arm high as the left hand presses down. Good, and coming all the way back with that hand. Now, gorilla pose, bend your knees so much that you can rest your tummy on your thighs, and see if you can tuck your hands underneath the soles of the feet. Let your head go so you're not holding any tension in the neck, and use your toes to press forwards and then back into the heels. Wiggle around through the toes, massage through the hands. A long in-breath through the nose and a long exhale out through the nose. Just taking a moment here with the head below the heart, soothing and calming, but giving us that fresh rush of oxygenated blood to the brain and the face. Good, and then just release the hands to give the hands a bit of a shake and roll all the way up into standing. Breathing in, reach high. Exhale the palms down in front of the chest. Plug the thumbs into the heartbeat and lower the shoulders. Knees nice and soft. And let's begin to flow. So remember to move nice and softly and let your breath lead every movement. So no effort needed here. As we breathe in, reaching high, a slight back bend, and exhale to take a swan dive forwards. Breathe in for a halfway lift, so your fingertips can be on the mat or a little higher, but we want that tabletop back. Imagine just resting a cup of coffee on your back, so lengthening through the spine. And then exhale, and we bring the hands down, planting the palms down. We step one foot back and then the other into downward dog and wiggle it out. Move through the head, loosen up through the shoulders. Allow the heels to lower in the direction of the mat. Get the length down the backs of the legs. High press up position. And lowering slowly down. The knees and thighs can come down first if you want to. So let the heels flop out to the side. Let your forearms rest down on the mat for Sphinx pose. Wiggle forwards before you commence this pose. So lengthen through the spine, make sure there's lots of space there in the tummy, really lengthen there in the upper body. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, lift up, opening through the heart, opening through the throat, pressing the hands down. And what's happening here is we're squeezing the kidneys and the adrenals. We switch the adrenal glands off that sit on the top of the kidneys. So we reduce the stress hormones in the body. It gives us that balanced energy. So it's the breathing that really, really helps with this. So take some long, deep breaths. Just glancing up towards the ceiling. So the eyes just heading in that direction. The head not going too far back. Now, if this feels okay for you, please stay here. If you want to come a little bit higher, it's an option, but only if it feels okay in your back. Tuck the elbows in and keep it soft, looking over one shoulder and then the other. Good. And then gently, gently lowering down. Make a pillow with your hands. Let your forehead rest on the hands and just take a moment here. The heels flop out to the side. You can gently rock through the pelvis here if that feels good for you. Good, and then with the hands in a strong position underneath the shoulders, we come back into that all fours position and then into a downward facing dog, letting the head go. Swaying through the hips and stepping forwards into your standing forward bend. Feet hip width apart. Good, let the head go and then gradually walk up the legs into mountain pose. Breathing in, reach high, and exhale the palms down.